Remember last year when Bank of America tried a fee structure for debit cards? They were going to charge you $5 every time you use your debit cards. Well, Americans freaked out and Bank of America backed away. Now they're back. They're trying out some new fees on what they're calling essential accounts. The amounts to monthly fees of anywhere from $6 to $25 a month on your account, depending on how your balance is and what you do with the account. Joined now by Jeff Macke of Breakout. And Jeff, should we be surprised that Bank of America is trying to find another way to nickel and dime its customers?
So you're going to be the populist guy who takes the size of middle America, despite the fact that you're treating them like children when you do. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's be grown up about this. They're providing you with a good and/or service, and they want to charge you for that good and/or service. That would be capitalism. Is it icky? Sure. It's your own money, so you can either stuff it under your mattress for free and just hope the cockroaches don't eat it and your dog doesn't relieve himself upon it, or you can give it to a bank and then pay a nominal fee to withdraw or exchange that money in order for...
Or you could go to another bank or a credit union and... Look, I am a Bank of America customer, and their website is really good. Their online bill payment is really good. And if they want to say to me, hey, we're going to charge you $5 a month if you don't use it, or if you use it a certain amount of times, I'm going to have to make a decision whether it's worth it to use that service or to say, you know, I'm going to go to some other bank where maybe their website isn't as good and there aren't as many ATMs everywhere. The problem I have is that we bailed them out. As taxpayers, we bailed them out. So this is how they repay me for bailing them out? By charging me, they're nickel and diming me.
By actually becoming viable businesses as opposed to just robo-signing their way into profitability while they give you free checking. Yeah, this is how they repay you. They become grown-up companies that have a P&L statement, and you put money in there, and they've got a bunch of expenses along the way, and they take their cut, and that's how they make money for shareholders. I know the bailout thing, and I know how gross this is, and we'd like them all to die, but think of the alternative. Think about the nefarious garbage, not Bank of America, think just in general. Think of the quagmire in banking we had last decade. That absolute train wreck.
Yes.
The entire time we're getting all kinds of free inducements to do stuff. That turned out to be a canard. You're going to pay one way or the other. Frankly, this is just a PR nightmare for them, but in reality, this is a step in the right direction because they're actually charging you for something that you can see, something tangible, as opposed to giving you something for free and then just ramming you in the back with all sorts of...
Right, so I see what you're saying. So that idea that we could have free checking and free credit cards and free debit cards and everything else was free, we're paying for it on the other side because they were doing all these kind of shenanigans with robo-signings and just trading CDS and everything else, CD cubed, and that's how they were making their money, and this is better.
That's part of how they were making their money, but they also had the rates have been jammed down. And so effectively, the rates, the way they are structured, I don't want to get too wonky, but basically, banking is a lousy business now because you're boiling it down to the soups and nuts of what banking is, which is you pay a little interest rate, you give money here and there. But this is real. This is actually tangible.
Right,
you're not subsidizing these operations that you don't want any part of. We bailed them out because that was what we paid for all this free stuff that we got before. You thought the free toaster was actually existent? No, you were paying for the
You paid for the free toaster? So you're saying if we want the Volcker rule, if we want banks to go back to being banks, we're going to have to expect them to start charging us for banking services.
It's going to charge you $4.50 a month, yeah, and all the respectable banks. This is not a Bank of America exclusive story. They just have the PR nightmare. Something I'm not just saying because they sponsor Breakout, and they do a very good job of doing
They do
so.
an excellent job, yes.
But, you know, Wells Fargo's doing this, JP
Of course,
doing
yes.
this. Everyone's raising fees across the board, drafting behind the nasty headlines. But this is what happens. I mean, you know, you want a clean banking system, you want the Volcker rule, you want to take care of the guys in back and get them out of these banking system. It's going to cost you something.
Right.
I'd rather pay $5 a month than trillions and trillions of dollars to bail them out.
Right. Well, there's 2 points I want to pick up. First, let's talk about. So these are pilot programs they're trying out in certain states: Arizona, Georgia, Massachusetts. $6 to $9 a month for essential accounts. Other accounts are being tested in those states with monthly charges of $9, $12, $15, and $25. You can avoid the payments by maintaining minimum balances, using a credit card, or taking a mortgage with Bank of America. This is according to the Bank of America. But so the other point I want to make is you just made it. They're not the only ones that are doing this, and yet that's who we're talking about. And there's so much anger directed at Bank of America because they did Countrywide, because they did Merrill Lynch, because they got themselves and brought maybe the U.S. economy to the brink. It seems like they're now taking on that role that Citigroup was playing for a while, the most hated bank in America.
Yeah, Snidely Whiplash.
Yes.
You know what? If you want to make a Bullwinkle, you need Snidely Whiplash in the cartoon, or it's not that interesting. I don't even know where I'm going with that. But here's
Go Rocky Go.
Go Rocky Go. Exactly. The part that I would get rid of is the minimum balance. That's the part where it seems like a regressive tax. That's a problem. But what they're driving at, what they should say is, listen, we want your banking. If you consolidate your banking with us, then we'll charge you less because you'll effectively become a better customer as opposed to just leaving, this is my dead money account. This is just, a little something I keep socked away. they lose money on that business. And so don't make it this regressive tax, but rather the more of your banking we have. If you pay your mortgage through us, you don't need one. But if you have if you have an auto withdrawal function set up, if you're paying your phone bill through us, if you're doing all this stuff that suggests to us that you're actually doing all your banking under one roof with us, we'll waive your fees. If not, we're not just going to subsidize your
right. So
cheap ATM
so
card.
the bottom line is Bank of America is doing this because they're in the profit business.
Yeah.
You can avoid these fees by doing certain things with Bank of America, or you can take your business across the street to some other financial institution.
Shop it. It's your
God
moral
bless
obligation
America.
to shop it.
All right, Jeff. Thanks very much.
Yeah.